shit wavy.
The devil tryna take my mind, I've been doing fine. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he been on my line. Can you take this pain away? Yeah, yeah. Down to my knees, I need to pray. Yeah, yeah. My flesh and heart might really fail. Keep my faith in y'all, cause I ain't tryna go to hell. I'm waiting on the Father, having patience like a snail. Keep my faith in y'all, whatever happens is your will. I be going through it, but I tell them all is well.
Nobody told me that the road would be there, and I don't believe people in this far to leave me. Nobody told me that the road would be there, and I don't believe people in this far to leave me.
The devil tryna take my soul, no way I'm full. You can try it in that fire where you know you real gold. Most I might be testing you like he did when he touched Joe. I know all this be stressing you, just hold on, don't let go. Keep your faith, I'm a legacy and never leave side. The most I send a jury, man, I'ma catch a ride. I respect the Father, cause I know he never lied. Got me out of situations, knew I could've died. You know how it go, we don't never listen till we drop it in the floor. We be calling on your name when everything be going wrong. Right now I'm going through it, but I'm still making this song. Tiana right up on my side, I'm just trying to show how to please the Most High. I care about your soul, where you born, where you die. We on the right path to the kingdom, ain't no lie. This commandment, seek the spirit of be pleasing in his eye.
Nobody told me that the road would be there, and I don't believe people in this far to leave me. Nobody told me that the road would be there, and I don't believe people in this far to leave me. Nobody told me that the road would be there, and I don't believe people in this far to leave me.
I'm gonna make that shit wavy.
Okay.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good morning, YouTube with Orlando keeping it simple. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everyone's day is good. I hope your week has been a blessed week. I hope the Most High have really truly blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope the Most High really have truly blessed your offsprings. I'm not used to that with that. You can turn that one off. Thank you. I hope the Most High really have truly blessed your offsprings with wisdom and knowledge and understanding. I really truly have. I really truly hope that he has truly blessed you and your loved ones over and abundantly with love, kindness, and patience. I hope he has really increased your knowledge. I really truly hope he has. I really truly have. My week has been okay this week. What I've come to learn about life sometimes is that it is what it is. You know, we have to understand that we're in a system, right? And in this system, you have to be able to go along and get along to be promoted within this system. And if you don't go along to get along in this system, it'll be hard for you to progress in the system. Because we got to understand how the system is designed, how the system works. So you can't really be too upset if you're not going along and getting along with the system, that you're not progressing the way you want to progress, because you're going against the system. You're going against everything how the system is designed to work. I just got somebody to Instagram me or something like that, said, if you want, do you want to be a part of the Illuminati where you can get $2 million and you can get this and you can get that if you want to be a part of the Illuminati? Meaning that you got to go along with the system that that this Illuminati system has created in order for you to be prosperous in life. So I don't know if anybody else get those messages, but I got one. And it said, if you want to become a millionaire, join the Illuminati so that you can be prosperous. So understanding that, because you may not want to be a part of this system, meaning that you may not be as prosperous as you want to be in the physical realm, but you may be prosperous in the spiritual realm. So you just got to understand that if you're not going along to get along, you may not have the things that you physically want, but you will get the things that you need to be able to make it in this world today. But let us go ahead. I got a lot. I'm going to try to cover a lot, and I'm going to give a lot information today. And I hope you can walk with me and be patient with me today. I'm going to try to stay within the hour and 30 minutes time frame. But I hope that you all can grasp the information and get some kind of ideas of what's actually going on and what's taking place, okay? I'm not going to rush through it, but I know the attention span of people is very short. So, wow. I know the attention span of people are very short, so I'm not going to try to be too long-winded, but I do want to give you what you need, okay? In Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17, but the Most High just said to me, he said their attention span is not short. He said they're going to pay attention to what they want to pay attention to, but the things they don't want to pay attention to, they don't. He said because some people can be on the phone for 30 minutes or an hour, 2 hours just on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok for 2 hours. And he said their attention span would be long for that. He said, but when it comes down to something else that's more vital or more important, their attention span is short. So it's not that your attention span is short, but if you choose to give your attention to what you want to give your attention to. So your attention span is not short, but you just choose to not want to have this attention and listen to the word. But you got a longer attention span, because I know some people sit on the phone for 3 hours in one spot doing nothing. So it just depends on you and what your information that you want to take in. Then it says in Exodus chapter 20 verses 1 through 17, it says, and El spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy El, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And thou shalt have no other Els before me, and thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah the El, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy El in vain, for Yahuwah not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy works. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy El. In it thou shalt not do any works, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore if Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, honor thy fathers and thy mothers, that thy days be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy El giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And let us pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine to your kingdom, power to your glory, forever and ever. So let it be. Amen, amen, amen. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Facebook Live. Good morning, Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good morning, YouTube with Orlando, keeping it simple. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. If you could turn the word of Yahuwah to chapter 13 in Isaiah. Chapter 13 in Isaiah. Chapter 13 in Isaiah, and the key verse is verse 14. And the key verse say, and it shall be as it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Let me read that over. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. If I may give a title of the text today, the title of the text today is The Great Migration is Here. The Great Migration is here. The Great Migration is here. The word migration is M-I-G-R-A-T-I-O-N, migration. The Great Migration is here. The word migration is the act of removing from one kingdom or state to another for the purpose of permanent residence or a residence of some continuance. Change of residence or habitants is removal or transit from one locality to another, especially at a distance. Migration means a relocation. You moving from one destination to the others. Like some people from Mexico come up to Americas, Guatemala come to Americas, India, China. All of them come to America. That means a migration. That means that one people are leaving one country and coming to another. That's what migration means. Then also the word sanctions. Sanctions. Okay, the word sanction is made valid or binding. To permit authoritarily, give accountance, or support to approve. Also, sanctions is a threatened penalty for disobeying a law or rule. Sanctions is a penalty to permit authoritarily to give countenance or some support to the approved penalties or rules of law. That's what sanction means. Sanction means I'm going to give the approval or the authority on the laws and rules for penalty. Means that the government can give the approvals for laws, approvals for penalties of the laws that was given to one country or another. Okay, it's like how the United States sanctions Venezuela. The United States sanctions Venezuela because the United States sets rules and laws in place where Venezuela has to support the United States. And if the Venezuela do not support the United States, they will be sanctioned. Means that they will be deprived of something that the United States has to offer. And it's because Venezuela do not agree with the rules and laws that the United States is putting out, they will fall up under the sanctions of the United States government. Okay? But in this chapter here, in Isaiah chapter 13, it's talking about judgment on Babylon, basically. It's talking about the judgment of Babylon. It's talking about what's actually going to take place in the future. Isaiah was talking about the future judgment of Babylon, what was going to actually happen to Babylon. Even during this time period here, he wasn't up under the captivity of Babylon. He was judging. It was talking about the future judgment of Babylon and why it was going to happen and what was going to look like and things of that nature there and what was going to be about. But I'm mainly dealing with, I'm going to read the whole thing because I think it's very interesting, and I think that you need to really try to understand what's going to happen to what's actually taking place today. And it's very important. Let me read Matthew chapter 7 verse 12. Matthew chapter 7 verse 12. I want you to understand this verse. It's very important that you understand this because it's up under the golden rules in the Bible. Okay? And it's very important. It says, therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophet. Do y'all understand that? Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophet. What it's basically saying is, what you want, how you want people to do, treat you, is how you should treat them. That's basically the golden rule in Matthew chapter 7 verse 12. But I want to talk a little bit about something, the great judgment of Babylon, and how everything is taking place in society today, because we're dealing with two words: migration and sanctions. Migration and sanctions. And we got to understand how America became, or how the U.S. became to be the great country that it is today. How did it become to be the great country that it is today? And it came through migrations and sanctions on other countries. We enforced people, we made people take on the dollar bill of the fiat currencies to use it in their country so that they could be able to buy and sell the products that they need. It's like the mark of the beast was the dollar bill. Because if you did not have the dollar bill, you was not able to buy or sell. You will be put up under sanctions if you did not have the dollar bill. So, when we look at that, everybody was either accepting the rules and laws that the United States was given into society, and they took the dollar bill and gave the United States their minerals to help the United States become prosperous, or they went up under sanctions. And sanctions are penalties that goes are penalties by disobeying rules and laws that the United States implemented on the land. So in order for the people that was living in these countries like Venezuela, hypothetically, or Cuba, or Haiti, in order for those people to be able to live, they had to migrate to the United States in order to survive. Because the country went up under sanctions, means went up under penalties from the United States. So that what happened for over, I say, 70 to 80 years. The United States was putting people up under sanctions for a long period of time if they did not want to abide by the rules and regulations that the United States implemented. That's why you have a lot of immigrants that come to the United States today because of sanctions that was put on their country by the United States. So now, when we talk about what's going on in the world today, right? I wanted to, because you've been hearing a lot of talk on the news about the BRICS. Okay, you hear Russia, China, South Africa, you hear about Venezuela, you hear about the BRICS. Okay, what is the BRICS? The BRICS is an acronym for the powerful grouping of the world leading emerging. Let me read it over. What is the BRICS? Because we got to understand it's a difference between the G20 and the G7. The G7 is basically European countries. The G20 is made up of other countries that wasn't a part of the G7. Okay? Mainly, the G20 is basically countries of African descent except for Russia. Okay? And also Spanish. Okay, but anyway, what is BRICS? BRICS is an acronym for the powerful grouping of the world leading emerging market economies, namely Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Listen to what the BRICS' mainly purpose is. The BRICS mainly mechanisms aims to promote peace, security, development, and cooperation. That's the main purpose of BRICS, is to bring on promote peace, security. Main thing is development and cooperation. Because you got to understand that most the countries that the United States sanctioned were poor countries. Third world countries that had a lot of minerals and vitamins in their land. Okay, why is BRICS created? BRICS was created to the establishment of an equitable, democratic, and multipolar world order. But later BRICS became a political organization, especially after South Africa joined. That was the main purpose for they was created, to establish an equitable, democratic, and multipolar world order. Okay. So now, we understand who makes up the BRICS. Who makes up the BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Why was they established? To promote an equitable, democratic, and multipolar world. Also to help promote peace, security, development, and cooperation between the countries. Then it says, the BRICS community plays a critical role in setting global economic policies and promoting financial stability. See, the United States, or the G7s, They was just promoting power for the G7s. Now the BRICS is doing it for a global world order. They doing it to be able to change the dynamics of the world. The BRICS is doing it so that everybody has a chance to eat. Everybody has a chance to sit at the table. See, when you're looking at the G7s and how the West runs it, it's totally different than the BRICS and how they run it. The BRICS running it for everybody. The G7's running it just for the G7s and to dominate and have power over other countries. Okay, are you with me? Okay, so the BRICS community plays a critical role in setting global economic policies and promoting financial stability. They're setting financial stability for everybody who want to be a part of the BRICS. They're trying to change the dynamics. They're trying to, like right now, the scale is unbalanced. This is the G7 and this is everybody else. So when the BRICS come in, they're trying to balance the scale so when everybody comes to the table, they have a voice, they have an opinion, they have influence what goes on in the world today. But when the G7s was running the world, they only ran the world the way the G7 countries only ran the world the way they wanted to run it, and nobody could say anything about it or do anything about it. That's why we have sanctions mainly coming from the G7s. So G7s mainly sanction people to get people to do what they want them to do. But when the BRICS comes in, they're going to make it balanced where sanctions are not around, where sanctions don't exist. That means that there's no rules and regulations that people have to abide by to be a part of the BRICS. They don't have to sell themselves out to be a part of the BRICS. That's why I said earlier that if you're not part of this system, it's because you really haven't sold yourself out to the system. So that's considered to be like sanctions. Okay, so BRICS community plays a critical role in setting global economic policies and promoting financial stabilities for everybody. Accounting for 17% of global trade and 1/3 of global GDP, gross domestic product, the BRICS countries have made significant contributions to global poverty alleviations. See, the BRICS are coming in trying to destroy poorness, homelessness. They trying to stop people from going hungry. They want everybody to be on the same playing field as everyone else. Everybody having that opportunity. But G7s do not want that. That's why Africa, the continent of Africa, is still being deprived of its resources, and that's why it's still the way it is, because all the sanctions that the United States and the G7 placed on Africa. So now it's been a major shift that's going on because of what the G7s have done to the people. Okay, so now the same countries that the United States use as sanctions countries, the same countries that the United States sanctions are the same countries that's going to join the BRICS. Understand that. The same countries that the United States sanction is the same countries that the countries are going to join the BRICS. That's saying that the United States will no longer have power over these countries that they're sanctioning. So it's like my enemy is my friend. So the countries that want to join the BRICS is Algeria, Argentina, Belarus, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, listen to this one, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Syria, Turkey, the United Empire, and Venezuela, Zimbabwe. They all have put in the application to join the BRICS. And these are all the countries that the United States have, or the G7s have sanctions on. But these countries have the most minerals, have the most oil, have the most diamonds, have the most gold. They are the most prosperous when it comes down to nutrients. They are the most prosperous when it comes down to having substance to be able to live off of. The United States don't produce nothing. So we are all dependent on everybody else to support our need. If you look on the back of your shirt, it came from China. If you look at your avocados, they came from Mexico. If you look at your diamonds and gold, they came from Africa. If you look at your oil, it came from Saudi Arabia or Iran or Russia or Venezuela. If you look at all the minerals that we have today, it comes from other countries that we put sanctions on. But now these countries that we put sanctions on are going to join the BRICS, where they will not be up under the authority of the United States government anymore. So, okay, so now what the currency is going to be for the BRICS. The new development bank, commonly referred to as the BRICS Bank. So they're now establishing their own banking system. They're pushing away from the dollar bill and they're developing their own banking system. That's why it's so much of a banking crisis right now, is because most of these countries that I just named and many others are leaving the fiat currency or the dollar bill and now going to this new system which is going to crash the market. It's going to crash the dollar bill. The dollar bill will no more be in existence. It will not be feasible. You will not have, that dollar bill will mean nothing to these countries no more. And the United States will go into poverty because it no longer has the power, that influence that it had over these sanctioned countries. It will no longer exist. So now listen again. The G20 banking system is going to be totally different from the G7s. The G7 banking systems were only based off the fiat currency, which was based off nothing. The dollar bill only is a promissory note. It's a dollar bill downstairs on that thing. You'll get it from me. Thank you. Okay, the United States and the G7 financial currency is only based off a promissory note. But the G20 and its currency is going to be based off silver, gold, oil. It's going to be based off nutrients. It's going to be based off minerals. It's going to be based off what the land can produce. So those G20 countries and everybody who's going to be a part of the BRICS, their financial currency is going to be more sustainable than the G7s. Okay, and it says, and let me read it up. Let me start from the beginning. The new development bank, commonly referred to as the BRICS Bank, as it is co-owned equal. Listen to this. As it is co-owned equally by the 5 BRICS nations of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is to scale back its use of the dollar, the US dollar, and concentrate instead of loans designated in the nation currency. So everybody who's going to use the dollar, everybody who's going to be a part of the BRICS, listen to this again. Everybody who is going to be a part of the BRICS is co-owned equally by the 5 BRICS nations of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It is to scale back its use of the US dollar, and concentrate instead of loans designated in national currency. So everybody who's going to be a part of the BRICS will not use this dollar bill. And I'm going to tell you what the dollar bill is. And it tells you at the top of the letter, at the top of the head, what it is. It says a Federal Reserve note. It says Federal Reserve note. That's all this is a promissory note saying that this is supposed to pay for that, even though it's not backed by anything. The G7 currencies are backed by nothing. The G20 currencies are going to be backed by money. It's going to be it's going to be backed by silver, gold. It's going to be backed by land. It's going to be backed by oil. It's going to be backed by nutrients. More so than what this promissory note is going to be backed by. Okay? So now let me read you 1 or 2 more articles, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to read you the headline of them. It says, China calls on BRIC countries to cooperate to stabilize food security. What China is trying to do with being a part of the BRICS is making sure that nobody goes hungry. Okay? When it comes down to, let me see something. Okay, what Russia's doing and what Russia have done, listen to this. This is very important because China's going in and stabilizing the food market. Russia is going to help every country get off the fiat currency. It says Russia wrote off 20 billion of African nations' debt. Putin say it is highlighted that the mutual trade-off is growing from year to year, which reached almost 18 billion as of last year ends. So what Russia did for the African countries is they just went and wiped off the debt that Africa owed the United States of America. Okay? Also, what's going on with Mexico? Mexico president is mad with the United States because the United States want to go in and take and have a war against the cartel that's in Mexico. It says Mexico president slam calls for U.S. military targets cartel. See, the United States don't want to go into Mexico to take over to kill the cartel. They want to go in and stop Mexico from joining BRICS. Understand that. But let me go back. I just gave y'all a lot of information. I got a lot of other information I could give you too. But I'm going to go ahead and I might give you a little bit of that too. But let me go ahead and just go ahead and start. Because I want us to understand something. We're in the 400-year judgment, right? And we're dealing with why Babylon is going to fall. One of the main reasons why Babylon is falling is because of sanctions that she put on everybody else. The way she wanted to be, the way you want to be treated is the way you should treat other people. But the United States did not follow that policy, did not follow that golden rule. So now when we look at Isaiah chapter 13 verses 1 through 20, and I'm going to try to read them pretty fast and go through it so that you can understand it. This is talking about the fall of Babylon, okay? And it's talking about what's going to happen in Babylon and why it's happening in Babylon. I just told you what's actually taking place on the scale where why the BRICS was established, what the BRICS are for, and the BRICS are targeting every major country that the United States sanctioned. So that saying, my enemy is my friend. Every enemy that the United States have is going to join BRICS and be a part of BRICS and have America by itself. That's what you're seeing on the scale today, where everybody's joining BRICS and America going to be out here by itself. Okay, then it says in Isaiah chapter 13 verse 1, the problems of Babylon, the calamities of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountains. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the noble. What that word lift up a banner means, let's give a sign on the mountains. Like when you see a movie, a war movie, right? And this guy's bringing the banner, and when they capture the hill, they stake that flag on the top of the hill. Okay, it says, lift up the flag upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the noble house. Listen to this. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathers together. Yahuwah of hosts mustered the host of the battle. So what happened in the first four verses is that the Most High called these people together, these nations together, to be able to come against Babylon. And these nations don't necessarily have to be a righteous nation, but these nations have a purpose and an agenda. Their purpose and their agenda is to specifically destroy Babylon, because what Babylon has been doing to other nations and people. Not because they was a righteous nation, it was because they are a nation of wickedness. And see a lot of the times when you hear people talking, when I talk to my counterparts, right, who call themselves being in the Word, they's like, man, we got to go back to the old days, man. We got to go back to the old days, man, and we got to love one another. We got to do this and we got to do that. And I don't say nothing to them, because I just listen to them, and I'm saying to myself, what make you think I want to go back to the old days with you? What is the old days? What is the good old days? When equality and development wasn't, and cooperation wasn't on both sides of the scheme, on both sides of the story. Mississippi just brought back the Jim Crow laws, where they just found this boy beheaded that I gave you last week, and the spine taken out of his body. But now the city, one of the cities in Mississippi, 23 people have been killed and the whole city been destroyed. Right after they found the body, the boy beheaded, the young man had the young man's body beheaded, and his spine was severed. 1 week later, the whole city was killed, destroyed, and 23 people was killed in that city, killed in a city in Mississippi. But when you hear these people say, man, let's go back to the old days, we got to love one another, we got to love one another. Well, what do you mean by love? What is love to you? When it's cooperation for your benefit? But the Most High is talking right here in verse 3 and 4. These sanctified ones, the word sanctified in verse 13 means I have commanded my sanctified ones. It just means that he appointed a nation to come against the nation of Babylon. That's all it means. Just like in Isaiah 45, right? When we go to Isaiah 45, see, because he's sanctified just means appointed. See, Cyrus was appointed. It says, thus said Yahuwah to his anointed, to Cyrus, who right hand I hold, who right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him. And I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two leaven gates. Leave gates, and the gate shall not be shut. See, the Most High appointed King Cyrus to destroy Babylon. Okay, let us go to Jeremiah 25 and 6, 27 and 6. Jeremiah 27 and 6. See, when he says sanctified ones, it means that somebody he just appointed to do a job. See, this is another example of appointed ones. And now I have given all these lands into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant. And the beasts of the field have I given him also to serve him. So when the Most High have a job to do, he's going to use his servants, his people, on the land to make it be fulfilled. He used Babylon to destroy Israel. He used Persia to destroy Babylon. He Medo-Persia to destroy Babylon. He used Cyrus to destroy them. He used Greek and Rome to destroy each other. So he used whoever he wanted to use to make his job done. It ain't specifically every kingdom out here is his nation. No, he's just using people the way he want to use them. Also, let us go to Jeremiah 51. Because I want us to understand something. It's not saying that Russia, it's not saying that Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are the Most High's chosen ones, but that's who he's going to use to destroy the U.S. and the G7s. Because he said, Israel are my chosen one, is the apple of my eye. But he using all these other BRICS countries to destroy Babylon because what Babylon did to Israel. That's what's actually taking place. What the G7s of Babylon did to Israel, the Most High is going to use the BRICS to destroy the G7s or Babylon, which is also known as the United States. So in Jeremiah 51 and 20, it reads, Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. See, BRICS is his battle of weapons of war against the G7s. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy the kingdoms, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his riders, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariots and his riders. And with thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces young men and the maids. And I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherds and his flocks. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith Yahuwah. So the Most High is using the BRICS countries to go against the G7s, because what the G7s have been doing to everybody else in the land, and what the G7s or the U.S. been doing to everybody else, they're putting sanctions on them. So they can't eat, so they can't develop, so they can't have corporations, so they can't prosper. So that was the same. So whatever you live by is what you die by. So that is what G7s is going to die by. The same thing. They're going to die by the sanctions too, because China, Mexico, and Russia, and Venezuela, all of them, and Iran, Saudi Arabia, all of them can say, because Saudi Arabia said, I'm not giving you no more oil. If Mexico said, I'm not sending no more food. If Iran said, I'm not going to give you no oil. If South Africa said, I'm not going to give you no diamonds or no gold or none of that, what would the United States have? All these countries can sanction the United States the way the United States have been sanctioning everybody else. So what would the United States have? And that's what we got to really understand. That's what we got to look at. That's the whole clear picture. You live by what you live. You die by what you live by. Now because also Japan is going to try to join BRICS, and Japan is one of the countries that's with the United States. But you got to remember, the United States dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima or Nagasaki, which is Japan. Don't think that Japanese people forgot about that. And Japan is thinking about going to the BRICS. So let's go back to Isaiah 13:5. So now the Most High is bringing these nations, which is the BRICS countries, against Babylon, which is the G7s. Okay? Even Australia is thinking about going to, also thinking about joining BRICS. And Australia is part of the U.S. in that G7. So now the BRICS countries are getting ready to come against the G7s, or are these other nations going to get ready to come against Babylon, right? That's what's getting ready to happen. That's what the Most High has stirred up in the pot. Commotions. They're going to get rid of, they're going to stop using the dollar bill. So if you have 80% of the population in the world is not using the U.S. fiat currency no more, what will happen to the U.S. dollar bill? It will fall. No one will use it no more. That means that all the banking systems that we use here in the U.S. will no longer exist. That's why we're having so many banking problems today. That's why so many people are not able to get money out of the bank, because we're having such a crisis. People are stopped using the dollar bill. Russia and China in India, in Turkey, they have large populations of people. India and China have close to 3 billion people. That's almost half of the population on the planet itself. And if China stopped using the currency, what will happen? And they say, okay, you can only buy our products in gold, United States. What will happen to the United States? We don't have enough gold in reserves. We don't have gold because all of it is gone to Britain. So in Isaiah chapter 13 verse 5, it says, now these nations, they come from a far country. This is the location. They come from a far country, from the ends of heaven, from the earth, and from even Yahuwah, and the weapons of his indignations to destroy the whole land. They come to destroy the whole land. Not just financially, but also through the land. It says, howl ye, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all the hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. See, a lot of people are going through a lot of emotional trauma right now because they really cannot understand what's truly taking place on the earth. I'm in the transportation industry, and it is very difficult for me to see what's actually taking place. Because I know that when transportation industry is booming, the economy is booming. But when in the transportation industry is not moving, the economy is going into a great recession. Verse 8, it says, and they shall be afraid, pain and sorrow shall take hold of them, and they shall be in pain as a woman that travails. And they shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as a flame. Behold the day. And what these passages are talking about, how the people look, how the people feel, what the emotional stress that the people are going through, how the people have anxiety, what is actually taking place in society as a whole. Because I question people on how they feel. I ask them what's going on. I see what's going on with them mentally. Because I was talking to a guy this week who owns his own truck. He said, man, I had to move from one company to go to another company. I had to move from one company to go to another company because we're just not making no money. The industry is slow. They knew that the market was going to take a dive beginning in March, and it has taken a tremendous dive. Amazon is a transportation, even though it's a logistics, it's a transportation company. It just laid off 9,000 people last week. Amazon moves up commodities that comes from China. Who's a part of BRICS, who don't care nothing about the U.S. no more. And that's what, and this part here is talking about how the people feel, what actually going on with the emotions of the people, what they emotionally feeling. They're going through pain like a woman who going through birth pains. Her body hurt. She's angry. She's crying. Some people can't feed their families. Look at all the stuff that's going on in Boston, Philadelphia, California, California. Look at what's going on in Ohio. Look at just what happened in Minnesota with the water's radiation is going into the water. Radioactive material is going into the water. Look at what just happened in Mississippi. So people are going through some pains right now because of what's taking place on the earth. And it's talking about the physical. It says, behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. The who? Sinners. It's dealing with the people because of what they did. And see, I was listening to somebody yesterday, right? He said, why is there allowing chemtrails in the, why is the U.S. government allowing chemtrails in the air when they know that it's going to eventually affect them as well? They're not obsolete from the chemtrail. They're not obsolete from the bad food. They're not obsolete from the bad water. They're not obsolete from the contamination that is in the air. Why is they allowing all these things to happen? Because they don't have no control. Because what it says in verse 9, behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. They don't have no control over what's going on in the world today. Because this is all the Most High is doing. Only thing what they think they're doing is actually not what they're doing. This is the Most High doing. And we don't, and a lot of us, it's like my wife put the chemtrail picture on her Facebook and she was questioning people. What you say?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell them, say it loud so they can hear you.
No, I said I was questioning certain people on that day, asking did they see the activity in the sky, the trails.
Right.
And I asked one person, and they said they thought it was airplanes circling around trying to land.
What you say?
They thought it was airplanes circling around trying to land.
They didn't even know what was going on, did they?
But you know, it's something that so many people do not just look up in the sky. When they go outside, they don't even look up. And I had people to tell me, oh, I don't even look up. I just go on where I'm going or get in the car. I don't even look up.
So they don't actually know what's going on in the world. Wow. So, when we see all these things taking place, it's to get this deal with the sinners, but it's Yahuwah's doing everything that he's doing. He's doing this and people don't even understand it. They asking, oh, woe is me, but not realizing that, hey, this is the Most High's doing. He's trying to deliver his children Israel out of this situation because the G7s have they have dominated with pride and arrogance for a long period of time. And that's why he's bringing on the BRICS, to bring the BRICS to power for a certain period of time. Okay, in verse 10 in Isaiah 13, it says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Listen to that. I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquities or calamities or sins. And I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease, and I will lay the haughtiness of the terrible. Let me say this right here. I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease. See, the U.S., I got it going on because I got a lot of money. The G7s, I got it going on because everybody got to buy what you got to buy with the fiat currency. That's proud and arrogance. Long time ago, everybody used to look up to the U.S. Everybody used to say, I want to be a part of the U.S. Everybody used to say that. But now, people can't stand the U.S. because of what the U.S. have done to people. Even Afghanistan have wanted to be even Afghanistan, who we destroyed for 20 years, is petitioning to be a part of the BRICS. Because Afghanistan brings on the opioids. They help with the medication. Opioids is in the medication. So opioid can help the BRICS. They can contribute to that society by making sure that the medication that society gets, they reap their benefits from it. So the Most High got to bring the arrogancy of the proud to a cease. Verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the gold wedge of Ophir. Let me read that over. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Meaning that calamities is so much calamities going to be on the earth that it may be 1/3. All the men that's on the earth today, it may be 1/3 left. That means that a man on earth is going to be more precious because it's going to be far and few in between that you see a man on the earth. The population of men is not going to be many because why? Who's mainly in wars? Who mainly goes to war? Men. If you look at if you look at what's going on in Ukraine today, right? It's been over more than, I'm just gonna say 100,000. I don't actually know the numbers, but I think it's about 300,000 to 400,000 men in Ukraine that have died. But I'm just gonna say 100,000 to be on the safe side. But it's been, just say 100,000 men in Ukraine that have died in this war just in 1 year. So when he's saying it's going to be far and few in between of men going to be like gold, because men going to be fighting these wars and men are going to die. So when you're talking about men, it's going to be very far in between because of all the calamities that's going to be here in the war. So it's going to be horrific. We're not just going to be going through birth pains. We're not just going to be going through anguish in the mind. We're not just going to be sick physically. It's going to be all of it. All of it. And then it says, therefore I will shake the heaven. I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahuwah of hosts, and in the days of his fierce anger. This is when everybody gonna start leaving America. See, let me read you something. I'm gonna read you a little bit. Okay, let me read you. Okay, in verse 14, it says, it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. Okay, this part right here. Let me explain this part. And it shall be as the sheep roe, meaning when a lion is chasing a gazelle. Meaning that your life is going to be so much in danger, people are going to be chasing to kill you. But also, as a sheep that no man taketh up. A man is the protector of the sheep. That word right there, taketh up, means to protect. As a sheep that no man protects. It ain't going to be no protection, and it's just going to be a lot of chaos and commotion. It's going to be a lot of chaos and commotion at the time. So that's when everybody going to start leaving immediately. When they start to, people are leaving now, but that's when it's really going to happen. When people start to see all the commotion, they seeing all the banks failure. Don't think people are not taking their money out of the banks. They're not leaving the country silently. They're not telling nobody. Silently. They selling everything. They moving to Mexico. They moving to Africa. They moving to all these other countries that's more safe. Okay, and it says, and it shall be as the chase roe and as a sheep that no man protecteth. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. That means that they're going to migrate back home. And that's what we're seeing today on the land. A lot of people are selling everything that they have and just jetting. Let me read you something. Let me read you something. What percentage of my immigrants return home? Return migrants account for 26 to 31% of migrants, more than twice the rate of other migrants estimate. That high rate of return migration added up over time. From 1990 to 2015,
approximately 45% of migrants ultimately return home countries. You read that, you hear that? Okay, we have 45% of the migrants that come to America, they wind up going back home because they understand that the United States is not where they want to be. And that is the hard part to understand. That is hard for us to understand. Most of the migrants, they leave and go back home. And now you finna really start to see it because of the calamities that's here on the earth right now. You finna start seeing a lot of people jet, because we got to understand that most migrants come from Mexico, who's going to join BRICS, India, who's going to join BRICS, China, who's joining BRICS, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Cuba. All those are immigrants that are joining BRICS. So when BRICS is starting to rebuild their own country, those countries back up, what will be the purpose of them coming over here to the United States? When the United States is going down and all those other countries are coming up because they have joined the coalition of the BRICS, what would make them want to come and stay in the United States when they see the fall of Babylon and the rise of their country? And just now, United States are threatening to invade Mexico because of the drug cartel, which is not true. They only want to invade Mexico because they want to join BRICS. That means that the stronghold that the United States have on Mexico will no longer exist. So that if Mexico joins BRICS, that means that the Mexicans that's over here in the United States will go back home. That means that over 50, just say 35 to 50 million Hispanics will leave the United States and go back over there. Do you understand the impact that it will have on our economy and our production, everything that's going on in the United States? Do you understand that? That would be like hitting somebody in the stomach with a hammer. Because they just don't bring workforce. They do the farmland. They do a lot of things. Then you look at the Africans that come from continental Africa. If they go back home because they get ready, they're debt free over that Africa now. They don't have to deal with the United States. What they would do? Then the Indians, which is part of the BRICS, is India. If they went back home and started developing the technology over there in India, how many Indians are over here as doctors and lawyers, doctors in the technology field? They left the United States and went back to India. Look at the vacancy of the, you go ahead and say what you're going to say. Look at the vacancy that it would be in the medical field and in the technology field. If the Indians went back to India, the Mexicans went back to Mexico, the Africans went back to Africa, the Asians went back to their homeland, what would be the effects of in America? How would it impact us? They don't have to come to war with us. They can just tell their people to come home. It would destroy us immediately. We don't understand the importance of migration. If Cuba went back home, if the Cubans went back home, they control Florida. This land would be desolate just because if you got over, say, 75, 80 to, let's say 80 million people going home. You got 80 million or more. will be significant. The United States would not be able to recover. Let us go to Jeremiah 50. It's 16. See, a lot of the times you don't have to destroy a country by going to war with them. You can just use you can use their strength as their weakness. Jeremiah 50 and 16, it says, cut off the sword from Babylon. The sword. Listen to that. Cut off the sword, the planter, the ones that make things happen. Cut off the sword from Babylon. All the Indian doctors, gone. All the Indian technicians in the technology field, gone. How much of an impact? Hispanics, all the farmers, construction workers, gone. Asians, they do a lot. They're in various fields, gone. All those people that leave, what would they do? Those are considered to be the sowers. The European population on the earth is, their population, like Joe Biden said, is dwindling. So understand that the production that they will be able to come, we will not be able to restore the land. Because we will not have enough population to be able to restore, because of this land is occupied off 325 million. 342 million. So if you got rid of productive 90 million people, that leads you down to 240. Then out of the 240, you only have 40 million people that can be productive. Or just say 80 million that can be productive. This land cannot sustain itself. We will be like Mexico is right now. We will fall to like the 20th country in line, or even worse. We'll be worse than Brazil. It says, cut off the swords from Babylon, and him that handeth the sickle in the time of harvest. It says, cut off the workers. Cut the people off who doing something. Cut them people off. Send them back home. For fear of oppression swords, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. Now what you think the talk is? I was in school about 2 years ago, right? And I was in class with this young lady from India. And she said, India is on the rise. We're starting to produce things in society. Would you come buy our product? Would you come buy the things that we're making because we're moving into the technology field? And you know, when I had an African student, she said, no, because Africa's trying to do the same thing. Why would I come buy from you when I can buy from Africa? So people are starting to understand that the power that they have is within their own homeland. They just got to use it to the best of their abilities. But they had to get them up under the sanctions of the United States to be able to do it. Okay? So now everybody's getting that idea. And they're going to flee because of famine and pestilence that's going on in the land. Don't think people are not talking. Because they talking. Let's go to 51 and 9. It's just that sometimes Hebrews in America, or black people in America, we too loyal. Jeremiah 51 and 9.
Just us black people in America, we just too loyal. It says, for we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. And let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reached unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. What did it say? Let her go everyone into his own country. Don't think people are not thinking about getting up out of here. Because they are. Let us go back to Isaiah, because I want to try to get the whole thing done. I'm going to try to read. Isaiah 15, 13 and 15. So everybody's getting ready to leave because they see what's going on. Everybody getting ready to leave because they see what's going on. The BRICS ain't even got to come invade America. Only thing to do, BRICS got to do is just build up everybody else's homeland and everybody go back home. Because that's the reason why they migrated here anyway. Because their country was up under sanctions. But if their countries are not up under sanctions no more and they can prosper, why would they want to stay here? They can go amongst their own people and not have to deal with us. Verse 15, it says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. This is the violence that's going to take place if the people decide to stay. Everyone that is found, listen, the word found. Everyone that is found in Babylon shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished, raped. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver as for gold, they shall not delight in it. She said, you ain't going to be able to pay these people off because the fierce anger is going to be in them so much. Do you know how upset these countries that's been sanctioned? Do you know how long and how mad and how angry they are against the U.S. and the G7s? You might have generations and generations of people who've been starving because of the sanctions of the United States. The only people that have a short memory is African American people, black people, or Hebrew people in America. We have such a short memory, but don't nobody else have a short memory. Listen, they're going to be angry. They ain't going to want no, you can't buy us off because we want to take delight in doing this. It says, their bows also shall dash. Listen, their weapons also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruits of the womb of the woman. Their eyes shall not spare children. Listen to that. And Babylon, the glory of the kingdom, the beauty of Shaddin excellent, shall be as when El overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. This is the results, and this is how it's going to look. That's why people are going to leave. That's why people are leaving before it get to this point. That's why people are going to leave before it get to this point. It's going to be worse. It's going to be looking worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. This is a comparison. This is the results of the future. It says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, and the beauty of the Chaldean excellence shall be as when El overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall be dwelled in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabians pitch tents there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. This is the results of what's going to happen. Everybody can just leave America and it will go down. Because the population can't sustain itself. We don't have no innovation to be able to maintain our living. We don't have no technology. We don't have no industrial. We don't have no creation. We will die off. Genesis 19 and 24, and I'm done. Because I can go on. It says, then Yahuwah rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone's fire from Yahuwah out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plains and all the inhabitants of the city and that which grew upon the ground. Nothing was able to grow here. I'm done. But what am I saying? The Great Migration is here. Why the Great Migration is here? Because of sanctions. Everybody finna get ready to leave because there's going to be so much sanctions on the U.S. They're going to go back home. Because why? The BRICS have helped those countries, or helping those countries that have had sanctions put on them. This could be no more. Man could not have done this. If you don't believe in the Most High, like this guy said to me yesterday, I'm just talking to you to increase your faith. Now, if you can't see this, you can't see how this is all orchestrated by the Most High, you can't see all this, you don't have faith in Him. Or you don't have faith in the Ruach HaKodesh. Because the BRICS is coming at a time where our 400-year prophecy is really coming to full swing. And if you can't see it, something wrong with you. You're not looking up. So, if you can't, I'm just saying, if you can't see it, something wrong. The BRICS is using everybody that the United States have sanctions. He's going to use all those people to go against the United States by taking their natural resources that they normally ship to the U.S. They normally ship to the U.S. They're going to ship them and keep them for themselves.
My freight train's not rolling.
You ain't gonna, what you say, baby?
I guess the freight train don't stop rolling.
What China's doing is letting a drip fall to us. Because if China really wanted to bring us to our knee, don't ship nothing to the United States no more. If Mexico wanted to bring us to our knee, don't ship nothing to Mexico no more. Saudi Arabia want us to stop moving, don't ship no more oil to the United States no more. If Russia wanted us to stop moving, don't ship no more uranium to the United States no more. We'll be done in a matter of weeks. This land will be desolate. Everybody be on the next plane flying out of here, going back home. Y'all don't see it. That's how serious this BRICS thing is. That's why they keep talking about it so much. Because the dollar bill is gone. The dollar bill don't exist no more. That's why those people in Ghana, the house was torn down. Not because the people didn't pay, because the currency of the dollar bills is no longer in effect in Ghana no more. Let me pray so we can go. Abba, as we come to you today, we thank you for everything you have done, what you continue to do, Abba. We thank you for what you're doing and how you're doing it. Abba, we just ask that you help us along this journey. You guide us along this journey. You lead us upon this journey. Abba, we see that those people who put up under sanction had integrity to not be a part of the system, not going along to get along. We see that those people put up under sanctions because they just wanted to do your will, do what's right for their country. So they was put up under sanctions
because they wanted to keep their integrity. We understand that Babylon wants you to take this mark and do it the way they want you to do and live the way they want you to live. Like they're trying to impose the alphabet community over in Africa, and the people are not wanting to do it. That's why Russia stepped in. Your sanctified one stepped in and bailed them out. We see that your hand is behind everything that's going on today, Abba. And we see that your glory is going to reign forever and ever, and that's why every head and every knee going to bow. Because the simple fact is that we know you in charge. We ask that you just help us and let us know when it's time to go, so that we won't be here under the destruction of Babylon. We just ask you to help us to go the right way, know where to go, how to go, so that we can be able to do things the way you want us to do it, because we understand that North Korea may be bringing